Welcome to Intermediate English. This is unit number 5, Relative Clauses. Contents. In this unit, we will review the following contents: relative clauses and conditionals. Regarding to relative clauses, we will identify number 1, what is a clause? Number 2, the two kinds of relative clauses, defining and non-defining relative clauses. And number 3, relative pronouns and their uses. In relation to conditionals, we will introduce number 1, conditional sentences and their structure, and number 2, we will be focused on two types of conditionals, zero conditional and first conditional. What is a clause? A clause is a part of a sentence that contains a subject and a verb. We use a relative clause to join two sentences. Look at the example. I bought a new car. It is very fast. If we join these two sentences, we have a relative clause. I bought a new car that is very fast. Kinds of relative clauses. A defining relative clause, or also called restrictive clause, tell us which specific information or thing we are talking about. And it gives essential information. Look at the example. The woman who visited me in the hospital was very kind. Who introduces the relative clause, and who visited me in the hospital is essential information. A non-defining relative clause or non-restrictive clause give us extra information about the person or thing we are talking about. This type of relative clause is separated from the rest of the sentence by commas. Look at the example. My mother, who is 86, lives in Paris. Who introduces the relative clause, and who is 86 corresponds to extra information. Relative pronouns. We use relative pronouns to introduce the relative clause. The most common relative pronouns are who, which, that, whose, and whom. The relative pronouns we use depends on what we are referring to and the type of relative clause. Look at the image. In here, we have a summary of all relative pronouns that we will check during the unit. Conditionals. Conditionals describe the result of a certain condition. The if clause tells you the condition and the main clause tells you the result. The order of the clauses does not change the meaning. Look at the example. You can say either, if you study hard, you will pass your exam, or you will pass your exam if you study hard, and the meaning is the same. The if you study hard sentence corresponds to the condition, which is the if clause, and the you will pass the exam sentence is the result, which is the main clause. Types of conditionals. Zero conditional. The zero conditional is used to make statements about the real world and often refers to general truth, such as scientific facts. Look at the example. Ice melts if you heat it. It is a scientific fact and a general truth that if you heat ice, it melts. First conditional. We use the first conditional to talk about future situations that we believe are real or possible. Look at the example. If it doesn't rain tomorrow, we'll go to the beach. It is possible that if it doesn't rain, they will go to the beach. For some more detailed information and practice, don't forget to check Unit 5 Relative Clauses material. See you next time. Bye!